manager on brand for all of the P&G Sub-Saharan Africa markets. I work very closely with the brand team and specifically on our digital trial and media areas of the business related to marketing. Our trial Spark, Liesel, isn't able to join today. Something's going around and quite a few people have been sick. So I will just take you through the two business cases that we have and post this if there's any questions or clarity we can get into. Like Prithvi said, please just drop it in the chat and we can get to that. Great. So I'm going to share my screen quickly. If somebody can let me know when they can see it, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, we are able to see.
We can see it.
Great. There's two business cases that we have on brand and that I want to touch on, and both of them do work around trial. Trial is one of our key business drivers around the marketing side. P&G known for the marketing worldwide. We focus on media first. That's everything we do on TV, on YouTube, on social media. Followed by that is trial. Trial is the mechanism that we use in the business of getting people to trial our products or sample our products. This is either done traditionally by giving people coupons to reclaim in store, actually giving people a sample product. We used to do a lot of mall activations prior to the pandemic, where in certain malls you could walk up to a Oral-B stand and event that was taking place, and they would give you a free sample, tell you about the product, with the hope that, or actually the ideal push behind trial is that you trial the product and you like it and then you continue to purchase it. So that is one of the main fundamental areas we look at in brand building and marketing in P&G. And these business cases that we have today do touch around, one, evolving the trial space, and two, tracking the performance of it. So I'm going to just touch on each of those separately. So I'm going to touch on the offline trial measurement first, and this is something specific to Pampers, but the idea is that if there's a solution that we come to like, then this can be extrapolated across all the brands that we do work on with trial. So currently what this program looks like is that if a mom gets when a mom gets pregnant and goes to the hospital, when she's leaving the hospital, she gets or after giving birth to the baby and leaving the hospital, she gets a hospital bag. This has a range of products, but specifically we have our Pampers diapers in them. And I don't think this is a full pack, it's more of a sample pack, but that's currently what we're doing with Pampers to actually drive that trial. Again, the idea is that the mom uses it, likes it, goes into the store and purchases it. But that's also where we have a challenge, that once the mom leaves the hospital with the trial pack or with the bag, there's no way for us to actually follow up to see, did she like the product, did she not, did she continue to use it, did she purchase more, or did she just use competitors or switch to something completely different? And that's the challenge that we're trying to solve for. So what we're looking at here as a solution is a end-to-end tracking platform mechanism, and really we want to keep it open-ended and not define exactly this is what we need. Basically an end-to-end tracking mechanism to be able to understand the consumer behavior from the time they engage with the trial, meaning from the time they get the sample in the hospital bag till where they purchase that in store. And again, that's top line what that looks like, which is a slightly more complex challenge or business problem that we have. I will get into the steps on this in a minute. I just wanted to touch the top line of the digital trial and database creation that we're looking at. So like I said, P&G is very big on digital marketing, YouTube being one of our biggest partners. We rely a lot on the use of consumer data, obviously in a very compliant way, to be able to refine our targeting to people that are specific to that target audience. So where we have always pads, ideally we want to target this to women, and using the consumer data that we have, we can increase the accuracy of that advertising. And here, rather, before I get into the actual problem statement, Google and a lot of companies that do have online platforms and portals are removing the use of third-party cookies, which does limit what we can do when we advertise on video platforms, and really defining our audience and reaching more people within a set audience demographic. What a solution looks like here for us is, or rather the, I get that, yeah. Currently, we are using existing trial partners and retailer loyalty cards to be able to understand consumers, what do they do, what are their insights. If somebody purchases a Gillette razor, as an example, what else do they purchase with that? And also through the collection of that first party data, we're able to target to these people specifically a lot more accurately on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. The challenge here is, in South Africa, we do have the Protection of Personal Identifiable Information Act, which does ring fence or limit us in how well we can collect and use the data. And obviously we want to be in line with what the government regulations and compliance is with handling consumer information. And like I said, the phase out of third-party cookies on major sites like Google, YouTube, possibly even social media sites as well. So here, what a solution would look like is a platform or mechanism. Again, we don't want to tie it down to one specific thing that we're looking at, and rather just have it open-ended, but ideally a system platform mechanism that enables us to compliantly, in line with all of the regulations, collect consumer information, and even further to that, if what would be a plus, I'd say, and not mandatory, but a good plus, is if there's ways to survey, to gather insights on consumers, which will at the end of the day be used for improving targeting accuracy on video media and on social media. So just to clarify, there'll be no contacting of consumers directly because the regulations don't exactly allow for that, but it will be used to advertise to these consumers. And that's overall idea, currently where we are on both of these business cases, the challenges we face, and what kind of solution we're looking for. If I go back to the offline trial one, just to illustrate kind of a flow, and again, it's very basic, but the Pampers is in the hospital bag that the mom gets. The mom trials the Pampers, ideally, and then likes it, purchases Pampers, and then repeat purchases. Currently, we only have line of sight of visibility on the first point. And the solution, like I said, is to enable the visibility of point 2, 3, and 4, mainly to understand if a mom trials Pampers, does she purchase Pampers 1 year, 2 year, 3 years after? And that's also in line with what we're trying to do with gathering consumer insights. Great. That is the presentation we had prepared, very top line, to share just more details on what we're looking at. There's questions, clarifications, anything that we can deep dive into a bit more, I'm happy to answer away at that.
Thanks, Mikhail. It's Trent Rossini here. I see someone's got their hand up. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
Sure, it's okay. You're unmuted, so you can go ahead. I think it's Chetan and then Kate we can get to next.
So I just want to get a sense of P&G's view on the crossover from research and panels and marketing. If you've got any particular views, whether you keep those worlds very separate, or whether you see opportunity for leveraging insights and then subsequent marketing?
So to answer it, and I'm going to try not to go on a long-winded journey on it, but in summary, there is a lot of P&G sees a lot of benefit in leveraging these insights. So over the last 4 years that I've been in the media space at P&G, we've moved very drastically very quickly from being, just get our ad out there, have as many people see it as possible, to now a point where we're looking at let's actually gather the insights and then target these people specifically, because these are the people that have shown an interest or are part of an affinity group that have an interest in our product. So if I can say, both of these solutions that we're looking for do indirectly plan on leveraging that type of insight. Obviously, with the collection of consumer first-party data, Google does have a very compliant system which creates lookalike audiences that help with that as well. But the insights, the panel data, we still do use Nielsen quite strongly in the market, is something that plays a very critical role in what we're looking at. Hope that answers that.
Yeah.
Great. Chetan, you had your hand up next. You can
Yes.
unmute. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much. So my question is primarily, when you look at the data collection, especially from all the first-party sources, and you cannot connect with customer directly, is it an option like A/B testing that you could implement, or you looking at heat map and screen recordings of those customers to understand and then run experimentation? Is it something that sort of solves the problem largely for you?
It's not necessarily to that level, but the idea here is more if we look at consumer data and identifiable data, things like first name, surname, cell phone number, and email address. Based on those 4 inputs, either through Google or social media, one of those 4 fields are used and able to be found on these websites using that. The idea and really the end state objective that we would want the data for is more if we find, say, you purchase a Head and Shoulders, we know now that you're somebody that purchases Head and Shoulders. So ideally, and it's done in a very compliant way on Google's back end. I'm not really sure on the specifics of it, but Google can say, based on your activity on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, create a lookalike group of people that have similar interests, similar online activity, on the basis that if you purchase this product, then people with the same interests will ideally want to purchase that product as well. So that's really the end state that we are aiming to get to, or leverage the consumer data and insights on.
Got it. And
Yeah.
is this specific, like you have mentioned offline, and is it also specific, are these from different marketplaces this purchase is happening, or it's going to be a direct D2C brand that you're going to be running? Is it the place of where you're tracking this data?
And that, again, it's not something that I want to say is fixed, like it's either one way or the other. It's more open-ended. So the offline trial, again, the most prominent program that we do have now is in the hospitals with the moms, and that's very Pampers specific. But on the online side, it's not. It's really open e-commerce and quick commerce with the get your groceries delivered in 60 minutes kind of thing is taking up very quickly. So it's quite far-reaching on that one.
Understand. Yeah, I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
Great. Kate, you had your hand up as well.
Yeah. Hi, Nicole. Thank you. So kind of piggybacking on that last one, it sounded like the end state is that you're using these first-party data pieces to retarget the customers on social media platforms. Do you have email marketing programs as well? So would you, use that email to kind of nurture that customer directly?
So if I speak to that one very transparently and in line with our regulatory acts around consumer data, there does have to be very specific T's and C's included if we want to collect the consumer data and reach out to them directly for that kind of one-on-one marketing. So at the moment, because of the regulations and us wanting to make sure we're compliant, we haven't, gone into that area of it just yet.
Okay. And then as you think about the goals going forward, is the trialability aspect to just, purchase anywhere, or is there any element of, what is the current presence of Procter & Gamble's, own direct-to-consumer presence versus through retail and, unowned retail?
Yeah. If I understood your question, it's more, are we fixing like in one channel of purchase, or are we opening it up?
Yeah, and I guess my assumption is like that, that Pampers buyer could be buying it from a couple of different places. I guess part of my question is like, does Pampers sell completely direct to consumer, as in like a fully owned channel? Like, so could I go and purchase directly on the website, and would that be at all like a goal of the program?
I see. Pampers does not, or none of the P&G brands do sell, directly in their own channel. It's all through retailers, mostly modern retail. Like you said, e-com and quick commerce are slowly coming up, but it's still very focused on modern retail.
Okay, that is super helpful. Thank you. And then, would an ideal solution not be retailer specific, i.e. it could, work across all of those different channels?
Ideally, that's what we'd look at. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Great. I think it's Dane, or I'm not sure if it's Dane or Diane. That
Dion.
Yeah, Dion.
Yes.
Great. Thanks.
Hi. Yes, hello. Yes, so I think we all have similar kinds of questions related to kind of how the PII data will be used, of course, due to POPI. But what I'm getting is it's mainly for audience targeting, so you wouldn't necessarily expect us to be able to recontact that person. I just want to get a sense of, do you also have, through the loyalty programs, data available that you can match, for example, surveyed respondents with your loyalty program data? Of course, in addition to your Google kind of data that you have?
So on the loyalty programs, it really is a barrier with the likes of like Checkers and Pick and Pay not really giving their suppliers and other FMCG that data to leverage on their own. It's rather work through us to be able to do that. So that's what the collection and creation of consumer data, that's one of the challenges we looking to overcome, and rather bring that in-house. So while we don't have that from retailers to start off with, we do have from previous executions, other partners that we've leveraged, areas where we've had people claim coupons and things, and then consent to their data being shared with P&G. We do have a database of, I think it's 600,000 consumers already. Yeah.
Okay. And then also, I know there was mention of survey data as well that would then be matched back to respondents through the PII information. What kind of sample sizes do you have in mind for the survey data side of things? And is it just ongoing, or how would that be set up?
So at the moment, and again, this isn't part of mandatory what we're looking at, but rather it would be a good plus if in a digital or online trial experience, if we know that consumer one purchased Pampers and then after 3 months switched to Huggies, if we are able to survey data or consumers like that, or rather on a frequent basis, rather than doing a very formal with Nielsen, with Ipsos panel, big sample size and things, looking at does the consumer like this product, testing that once every 6 months. Did you buy this product because you saw a Pampers ad on YouTube, or why did you purchase that? Would you recommend that kind of thing? So it's, again, more looking at it not really as survey to take that and be very comprehensive, but more insights on the product and the marketing and the brand that we can do or that we can collect in a very informal way.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. It is motion. You have your hand up, so feel free to
Hi.
ask, please.
Yeah. Thanks, Mikhail. I was just wondering, in terms of the offline trial measurement, if my understanding is correct. So currently, you've got the program in place where you're distributing Pampers to moms in hospitals in South Africa, right? So that's where it starts, and then it's the aspects following thereafter that essentially is the business challenge, right? What I wanted to understand is that how are you currently doing that within hospitals? I'd assume that there's a partnership with various hospitals. So just an indication of approximately how many and where these hospitals are located as well, right? As the process begins in person, and then thereafter it's about how we're tracking. So just to get an indication of geographical reach and hospital network, if you're able to share any of that, yeah.
Yeah. So it is a partnership with Life Hospitals in South Africa, and that's a national partnership, so across all of their hospitals. And yeah, what we're doing is it is part of like a hospital benefit that they give the bags to the moms, and we use this as a trial connection phase of getting Pampers in there. And like you said, the rest of it is where we don't have visibility and where we'd like to start looking at that.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Charlotte?
Hi, so I just wanted to confirm for the application for this project when it is actually due, because I noticed that there are two different application deadlines listed on the P&G site. One is saying it ends in 10 days, and then the other says the stage 1 startup application closure date is April 14th. So I just wanted more clarity on that.
It's not April 14th. That is we did have a separate business challenge on supply chain, which was a bit more time sensitive. So that's the April 14th for that. Prithvi, I don't know if you're still on the call, if you can just share more on that, just to confirm the application closure date.
Yeah, so it is April 14th, but 23 is the last date. So post April 14th, we will have shortlisting and one-on-one sessions with the P&G team.
So to confirm, it is April 14th.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And while we're on the topic, if you could just talk through the process of once the application is submitted, how you view the process going.
Prithvi, do you want to take that, or?
Can you please just repeat?
What is the process after an application is submitted and timeline to review those applications?
Sure. So after your application has been submitted on the platform, it will be put under review, and P&G team will have a evaluation round where they will evaluate the application, and then based on that, they will set up a one-on-one session, a presentation setup session, so that a second round of evaluation can be conducted. Kate, if you are speaking, you are on mute.
I was actually just talking to my colleague, so I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, so Trent again. Two other questions. The first is BE a factor in the submission?
Not for these campaigns. P&G does have a broader program or broader strategy on that, but for this, it isn't really going to be a plus or a minus on the application.
And then just given the focus on POPI compliance, keen to get your views on sovereignty of data. While it is possible to take data offshore under POPI, it's generally advised to keep it in the country. I just want to see if that's a factor in your consideration.
It is, but again, with the compliance, with the focus on compliance, we have had cases, again, not specific to South Africa, but where we've had South African partners executing in East Africa and West Africa. And what we've seen, or what we did see as a barrier to overcome, which we were able to with the help of our legal and information security teams, was the T's and C's and privacy policy really being explicit on where data is collected, how it will be used, where it will be stored physically or on the system, and ownership of that as well. So if we're executing in Kenya, but the company is based in South Africa, really putting that out explicitly.
Thanks very much for that. And there's the just, I mean, picking up on your answer, is this campaign a South African centric campaign? Obviously, Pampers and Life Hospitals is South African centric. I just want to see if it's going to be extending across Africa.
Currently, the work that we're doing in East Africa, West Africa, isn't there yet in terms of business development and meeting these objectives, but it is South Africa centric at the moment. And if all works out in the future, there will be plans to expand. But at the moment, it's just South Africa that we're looking at.
Thank you.
Great. Are there no further questions from anyone? Great. Well, thanks everyone for the time this afternoon, and for some of you, I know it may be this morning. Hope that we were clear, and if there's any more questions, please reach out to the Unbox team, and they'll be, the Incubate Hub team, and they'll be sharing this across with us. This recording will be made available as well shortly after, and we just need to get it uploaded in time.